a direction.
And can you say sorry? Say one word. Say sorry.
I've given you this.
Say sorry. Say sorry. It's one word. You were wrong. I was wrong.
Thank you. You can wear your mask.
Say sorry. Say sorry.
Wearing a mask.
There you go.
It's very sad and disturbing to see as well in many ways. I spent time in both these communities and they're lovely people. You're going to see it. Both these sprayers being deployed.
Go away.
Don't touch the mic. You're meant to be speaking truth to power. Are you here just to take your marching orders? Is that what you're here for?
Do you want to go away?
Not really. I'm here to do what you should be doing.
Yeah? Please take this out of my mouth. I'm going to have you escorted off to security.
All right. Do that.
Prime Minister, are you worried to take questions because you saw what happened to Jacinta Allen? Are you scared of answering the tough questions? Yesterday was the first time you didn't conflate anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. Is that because you recognise that a lot of the hate is from the Muslim community?
Who come and approach? Who come and approach?
Mate,
I'm gonna
fucking
get you.
You're gonna what?
I'm gonna get
What are you
you.
gonna do?
Leave.
What are you gonna do?
Leave.
What are you gonna do?
Leave.
What are you gonna
Leave.
do?
Hey, don't touch it. You came my way. You fuck off. You understand? You came my way.
Stay out of the camera, wait.
What now? Can I show you? You want me to show you?
Right, one of the main interests of the debate, the Israeli police always make sure that only Muslims go. Jews and Christians are not allowed to go through here. They're limited where infidels...
No Jews beyond these steps, pretty much.
No.
The only way Jews are allowed on nowadays, it's fairly new.
One place. You were arrested once upon a time because the police would say you're upsetting the Muslims and they'd get too angry, then there'd be violence, there'd be war.
I don't know, but this guy's going to get punched out.
I just got threatened by the head of news and programming of CNBC. Are you serious?
That's him there.
Why do you think you deserve so much power? Hey, Avi Yemeni, should I be scared now? Don't push me, bro. What? What are you getting violent for, man? I could push just like you can. Look at these thugs. They fund wars around the world and then you question them. They try not only to intimidate you, but physically assault you.
And these are the activists that lost control of the situation today. This is Antifa, the socialists, the Marxists.
Pro-Palestinian supporters are coming to the Jewish community and instigating what can only be termed as a violent demonstration.
But you're at a synagogue. Why did you come to a synagogue if it's not about Jews?
You fight Palestine. War criminals in there.
How would you feel if Jews went to a mosque?
Shame on you. Shame on you for conflating the two.
Why are you talking about anti-Semitism when you're not Jewish?
Because I've been impacted by anti-Semitism.
Are you a Jew?
No, people think I am, and I've been called a fucking Jew and had someone threatened to kick my ass because they thought I was Jewish, so it's impacted me as well. We are not anti-Semitic.
Are you listening to yourself?
Yes.
Jacinta, we understand it's easier to run away, but what would you say to the Jewish community for them to believe that you could keep them safe since you failed them for a year and a half? Look at what are you doing? Why are you blocking my way, mate? Jacinta, why are you running away from the tough question? Why are you running away? Like a coward. No Jew can believe you're going to keep him safe. You came for a photo op. Does it look like how you expected it to look? Is it bigger, smaller?
Smaller?
Yeah.
Man, I don't need that.
You're not going to wear it?
Nah.
Wow. How are you going to do your photo at the wall? You have to wear one at the wall.
You have to?
Yeah.
All right.
You're going to look weird. People are going to look at you. We just need to get that photo.
All right, let's go pay our respects.
Can you tell us why you're still wearing a mask? Is that for COVID or to like protect your identity? Look at her. So she's the victim now. She's the victim. Look at the victim. When have I ever been called with Nazis?
To go up there when Posey Parker was here. I saw you with my own eyes.
With Nazis?
Yes, with Nazis.
Me?
Yes, Michael Coulston and all his mates.
You know I wasn't there on that day.
You were there. I saw you. I was there myself.
You're also somebody that can't define what a woman is. I'm not sure we'll take your witness testimony as the strongest here, but...
Here's the thing. It shouldn't matter what my definition of a woman is.
To women it matters.
It's up to one person to define to others what they should do. Yeah?
Biology should, though. Are you not ashamed of what you've done in the last couple of years? If any other product in the world doesn't work as promised, you get a refund. Should you not refund to countries that laid out billions for your vaccine?
The Lord is my shepherd.
Come from this side.
I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still water. He restores my soul and leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely, goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen.
Are you going to apologise for getting everything wrong, from mask mandates to vaccine mandates? Dr. Tedros, this is your chance to apologise to the world for your role during COVID. Would you like to take it?
Oh,
But
and you too, Rukshan.
why are you picking on Rukshan? He's a person of colour. He's a protected species.
These are not real journalists. These are cooked podcasters.
This is not a real It's a cooked
Older people like you guys, you can't grasp the idea.
Excuse me, I'm quite young.
All right, buddy.
I identify as 19.
Why is it harmful that people want to, identify as another gender? How does that harm you?
How does it harm you that I want to identify as 19?
It doesn't harm me.
Okay, so then why don't you accept it?
I didn't say I didn't accept it.
Do you accept that I'm 19?
If you want to say that, it doesn't f***ing matter. It doesn't affect me.
Will you take back your statement where you said that I was an old man?
What?
I am home. I am home. I am home. I am home. I'm with my people here. I'm with my Australians. What do you want to do, man? I'm home. I'm home. I'm Australian. I'm home. I'm Australian. I'm Australian. Look at you guys. Look at you guys. I'm Australian. Cowards.
Why is the Prime Minister such a coward? Does he pay you to protect his cowardice? They say regaining trust is the theme this year. Are you part of the reason why they've lost trust in the WEF and everybody finally knows who you are and what you stand for? Thank you, Dr. Tedros, for showing us how transparent you and the World Economic Forum. Many of the arguments that are made against Israel can be made about Australia. Do you agree? Are you on stolen land?
Oh, we are on stolen land, undoubtedly.
And did we colonise?
We did, undoubtedly.
So now, if an Aboriginal terrorist group committed the same atrocities, would you agree?
No, Woodsworth. I better stop, Abby.
If you refuse to move on, you'll be committing an offence. You'll get arrested for that offence.
Right, what's the offence?
Failure to move on.
Right, under which act?
Under which act?
Yeah.
Mate.
He was already arrested. He was already arrested.
Was that you? All right, mate. You're under arrest. Failure to move on.
Snitches get stitches. James, just so you know, that arrest is more real than the genocide. Do you guys cause trouble or not?
Sometimes.
Sometimes what kind of trouble?
Breaking in there.
Really? Is that fun?
No.
Do you get in trouble for it?
Yeah.
They're throwing rocks at us. Yeah, all good.
All good.
So there we are. Early on, they're throwing rocks at us already. These are kids out late. Police are barely doing anything. Why do you need a negotiation? Can't Hamas just release the hostages?
Hamas said yes. When Hamas said yes to the negotiation, Netanyahu said no. Hamas said yes.
Do you believe Hamas?
Of course I believe Hamas. I don't
believe Hamas?
I believe Hamas.
What a point
What's
to
happening?
stop at. How you going, mate? Yeah, I believe.
Good, mate. How's it going? Yeah, good to be back. Good to be back for another episode.
That's
Two in a
right.
week. We're doing good. We're back, I think, guys. We're back for good.
We are back. We are back. I hope everyone's having a good evening. Welcome to the show. And just some housekeeping rules, or not rules, just housekeeping in general. The comments scrolling below us are from our YouTube channels. I think soon we're going to change a bit of the format here and actually introduce all the comments everywhere, but it's just we've got to update some of the format of everything and just have one scrolling comments thing. But I think we've got to just rejig how everything looks to make that work. So it'll probably be in the next few episodes. Watch this space. We'll have that update. But for now, my YouTube and Rukshan's YouTube beneath, they're below both of us, respectively. And as usual, we are going to read every single super chat. Thank you in advance for your super chats. You are the guys that help make this possible. So every super chat counts, no matter how big or how small. We will read it, and we'll start with Anthony, who loves to get in first to try
Bit of a tradition.
To blame Trump for everything. And I think tonight there might be, he might be onto something here, because they are really trying to push Trump, and I'm going to unpack that all in a minute.
Is that a quote from one of the emails, maybe? I don't know.
That might be one of the emails. There's a whole heap happening tonight, so we might as well get straight into it, unless there's something you want to start with before.
No, let's jump straight into it.
I just want to bring up Ron's comment, not a super chat, just Avi wants to censor us. I just thought, how appropriate would it be for me to bring up Ron's comment of me censoring?
A lot of the disenfranchised Avi Yemeni hate watchers have ended up on my YouTube, watching from there. So guys, I welcome all. Guys. If you want to really get at Avi, ensure that you do super chats specifically on my YouTube. That is how you can really get to Avi. So that's where you
get me. Keep getting me. And you know what? Nothing gets me more than if you give Rukshan a super chat.
Yeah,
that hurts most. All right, we're going to jump straight into it, and because Anthony blamed it on Trump straight away, we may as well start with what is the leading story internationally.
Feed of the Epstein files has cast into question what Donald Trump really knew about the sickening crimes of Jeffrey Epstein. 20,000 pages have been leaked by the Democrats, including 3 old but cryptic emails written by the convicted pedophile, which mention the US president. As Miley Hogan reports, they suggest he was more aware of his former friend's trafficking and abuse than he's previously admitted to.
More than 20,000 new documents have been released from Epstein's estate after they were subpoenaed by American lawmakers. It was House Democrats who were first to leak a select number of emails. In one of those emails, Epstein was talking to his former girlfriend and co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. Epstein writes, quote, "I want you to realise that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim, the name redacted, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned." Maxwell responds, "I've been thinking about that." Republicans have since revealed the victim mentioned in the email is Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's most prominent accusers, who died earlier this year. Now, Giuffre had said she never witnessed Donald Trump do anything wrong. In another email, Epstein allegedly wrote about Trump. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
After accusing the Democrats of selectively leaking the emails, Republicans published more than 20,000 new documents related to the Epstein saga. They offered a further insight into Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former Prince's correspondence with the convicted sex offender. Epstein also emailed an unknown person confirming this notorious photo was genuine, despite the former Duke's claim it was fake. Democrats are still demanding more files be released, and some Republicans are backing those calls. But the president is also ramping up pressure on members of his own party, urging them to drop the issue. Donald Trump has never been charged in relation to Jeffrey Epstein, and he has always denied any wrongdoing.
What do you make of it?
This shit's never going away. This is going to be always there, hanging over whatever political leaders there. I mean, even if the files are released, whatever. Like even we've had these small releases of files over time, and again, nothing really comes up related to Trump. Even this time, I think it's just more nonsense. Like really, even if you read those, there's more emails than this where they talk about Trump, and a lot of it seems like Jeffrey Epstein and his crew were stalking Donald Trump. Really. I read through some of the
and
context.
So the context of for people who haven't actually gone and looked at the emails, it was while Donald Trump was president. This is 2019.
Yeah, that's when they're talking about this. So it's while he's president.
Yeah.
In 2016 onwards, there's emails exchanges. Are you saying there's all of these are specifically from 2019? The emails that have been released.
The ones from Epstein talking about Trump, and that's irrelevant. That's why they're trying to say, oh, he knew about it, whatever. The point, I think, firstly, that's going to be the worst emails that they have of Trump that they selectively release. They didn't release anything else. Secondly, it's important to note that the actual girl that they're saying was the victim that was in the house with Trump is somebody that's already said that Trump's testified that Trump did nothing wrong. She never witnessed him doing anything wrong. But you know what? It's not going away, and I just think it's been so badly, like it's been mishandled by the Trump administration almost the entire time. Like they played this silly game in the beginning, like they're going to release everything, and then they didn't. If you look back at Trump, I know everyone's putting it on Trump because a lot of the top guys in the administration were leading the charge in the Biden administration about the Epstein conspiracy and that, Epstein didn't kill himself and we need to release everything regarding it. Then they got in. It wasn't really Trump pushing that. He's always seemed disinterested by the whole story and the saga.
Yeah.
Does that mean there's any wrongdoing by him? I don't think so. I think Epstein was obviously in the, in those circles. That's literally what he was doing. Whether he was working for the Mossad or whatever other intelligence agencies, I don't know. I don't know if I don't if I had to bet, I don't think he was working for the Mossad. If they ever got intel from him or whatever, it's possible. I wouldn't rule that out totally, or any other intel agency. But I think it's just Trump going, because Trump is the one who did kick him out of Mar-a-Lago. Trump is the one that, as soon as it was proven, he wasn't like Bill Gates that kept the relationship going. That's why Bill Gates's wife left him. That's what she says. So Trump wasn't like that. When it came out, when he was convicted or whatever, that he cut off the entire relationship. Does that mean Trump wasn't going to these parties where there were girls? I don't know.
Look, I mean, it's possible, right? This is the thing. What we got to understand is in these circles, Avi, it's possible that all these guys knew that this dude was a creep.
Yeah.
And that he was supplying women and doing all this kind of stuff, or supplying young women. It's possible they all kind of had an inkling of something dubious was happening. Clearly, Donald Trump at some point in his relationship with that guy, caught wind of this and kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He went on the public record. He's helped law enforcement in the past. In regards to this, and he's always been very clear about Jeffrey Epstein being a creep. So the obsession that now we're seeing that Epstein had with Trump goes to that whole for Epstein himself. His pilots are tracking when Trump's planes are landing and going on different routes, almost try to time it up with Trump to try to talk to him, be in the same circles with him. So it feels like they were obsessed with Trump. and trying to find some sort of favor and favor.
And to be fair, I think that was Epstein's game. Like he was just trying to get to the rich and powerful.
And he would have been tracking everyone. He would have been tracking everyone like this. So Trump happens to be the guy that became president that he at one point had a relationship with. So this kind of scandalous thing that they're building around Trump, again, someone put in the comments, it's like they're pissing into the wind because they haven't come up with anything concrete. And you have to also understand.
But I don't think they need to. I don't think they need to. I think
they don't need to. The claims are enough to add. Look at the Australian media covering it, for Christ's sakes. If you listen to the Australian media, if you watch that Channel 7 news story in Australia and you had no idea of this, you would think that Donald Trump has been implicated in hiding his relationships with these underage women on that island. That's what you would believe if you watch that media story from the 7 News, because there's so much context to this story that's missing. And if you already have Trump derangement syndrome, well, it's very easy to sell. So for the Democrats and their supporters, this is like, yeah, we got him. With the House Democrats,
and they are just driving a wedge in the right, because there is,
of course, yes,
there is obviously they could see right now there are major cracks in the right wing. They're trying to kind of enhance and take advantage of that. And this is one of those. So this is one of those subjects which has also been tied. So because of the conspiracies that he was a Mossad agent, which there's zero proof that he's has anything to do with Mossad. He definitely wasn't a Mossad agent, but there's no proof that even the Mossad used Epstein for anything. Their greatest evidence of it is that there's one of the former prime ministers who were visiting the island as well, just like many others, just like Prince Andrew. And the funny thing is, it's an anti-Bibi Netanyahu prime minister, a scumbag like as well. And it's funny that they use that as the evidence, but it's also the same prime minister that they use as evidence to say stuff about Israel. They just use whichever argument helps their confirm their bias against Israel.
Yeah,
there is the only thing, the other loose connections I think was that they claim that Ghislaine Maxwell's father was Mossad. They deny it, but how do you know? How do you know who's not, who is, and who isn't part of intelligence agencies?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have those.
All these guys, but all these guys they go on about people's families being in intelligence agencies. Most of them are major Tucker Carlson fans, and guess what? We don't know if Ghislaine Maxwell's father was part of the Israeli intelligence. What we do know is Tucker Carlson's dad was part of
in the CIA.
In the CIA,
for sure.
It just shows that like the people don't care. I think for the left, for the Democrats, this is they're just piling on to foment.
But to that point, Avi, for them, they had this before 2016. They had all these files and these,
and they never did it.
They had it during the Biden administration. They could have released this stuff if it was anything scandalous on Trump at any moment. What did they bring out? They brought out like 12 or 20 different women that accused him of raping them, and all these dubious stories that never amounted to anything. Well, they would have had the meal ticket if it was these Epstein things, but they never did anything related to that. So it goes to show you that there's really nothing there as it relates to Donald Trump. I'm not saying there's not a scandal there. I'm not saying that there's people on that list maybe or whatever we talk about that should be investigated.
I personally think everything should be released.
Yeah.
I think,
and then Trump and his team during the 2020 election, was it 2020? The recent election, sorry, 2024.
2024, yeah.
They played it up. They definitely did play it all up as a political kind of weapon during that time. Now Trump is the right did. The conservatives did. It was, right? Because it was like, the Biden's not doing anything about it. We're going to release all the stuff. And now he's bored with it. He's like,
let me say, there is no way Epstein killed himself. Like, I just cannot believe that he killed himself. So there are so many questionable things around this story. And
of course,
obviously, and like, Epstein was doing some dodgy shit, definitely to get in with the rich and famous and the powerful, and he got into places that nobody should really have. That kind of access is very, very hard to get, and he's definitely implicated some super powerful people. Remember, the whole conspiracy until the Democrats didn't care about was the Clintons, what he had on the Clintons. That was the big thing. It's never been a secret that him and Trump had a relationship. That's always been now. Even in the flight, whatever they're called, the record. It's always been known. There's always that footage that they play over and over and over of Trump saying something to Epstein at some party and him laughing. They always play that. So it's nothing new. The timing here, the reason that I think the timing is important is because the Democrats and the left are trying to drive a wedge further into the right, already one that's divided very much on the Israel Gaza conflict. That's really divided generally about Israel, and they're tying now Epstein to Israel. So they're using this issue as a way to really create more havoc and more, disillusion within the Republican Party because of divide and conquer, and it's going to work. And anything that gives bad press to Trump is good for them, and especially now. It's not like prior to the election, let's say they dropped this because there was a unified right or majority unity. The only ones that were on the fringes condemning Trump were like Nick Fuentes or whatever. But outside, like the majority of the right would have come to Trump's defense. But now they're not. And partially Trump's administration's fault because of the way they've handled it. I think I blame them for making it too easy. They're making it way too easy. Like, just release everything. Just whatever has to be redacted for to protect victims, do that. But everything else.
Does that really settle it, Avi? That's the thing. Does it really settle it in today's climate? Would that be enough for a Candace Owens type?
No.
If you release all the emails, because they'll be like, "Oh, there's more missing. What's in the redacted part? What are the ones that aren't being shown?
There's
something else.
It's
never enough. So how do you deal with this issue as someone like Trump?
What?
His approach has been to ridicule it, right? He's just laughed it off. He's just said, this is a hoax, and it's offended people. Sorry, I cut you off.
Are people saying that we keep cutting out? Is that something, or is that just one person?
One person. So guys, let us know if the audio is working fine. Michael is having a few issues. Who's watching?
It's one person.
I can hear the audio fine when I'm listening back to the feedback. So
okay. So the I lost my train of thought there. I can't even remember what we were talking about. Trump. Anyways, I think that the point here is that the I don't remember what
audio's
we
fine.
until the audio's
fine. Now I was just going on about the Democrats and Trump. You're talking about I said before that. I said, would a Candace Owens this level of proof? Would that be?
So that was my point. Is that it might not convince Candace Owens, but most people and Candace Owens has become the most popular podcast in the world, and that's because she certainly has a massive fan base. And I heard a good take on it. It's like she goes on about David versus Goliath and always acts like she's David, but really she is the Goliath. That's why so many people in the conservative movement who despise the way she's gone about things are too scared to say anything, because as soon as you go up against her, you're going up against the bot army that she has behind her. But also people love watching a train wreck. We've gone through that before. The point being is that I don't think it matters if you convince Candace Owens. Who cares? Because she's a lunatic, so it doesn't matter. Like with Candace Owens, you can tell her it's the sky's blue outside, and take your live feed and show her that it's blue outside, and she'll go, oh, of course she'll say, whatever. If if it doesn't suit her narrative for the sky to be blue outside, it's not going to be blue. And the average normal person that's not in her cult gets that. So I don't think we need to take Candace Owens or Candace Owens fans as the kind of the gauge of whether putting out information. But I do think that transparency, like for normal people, the way that the Trump administration handled this, where they did this whole big show that we're going to be the transparent government and created these binders and invited these people that people had faith in to, these influencers or commentators or conservative, whatever you want to call them, into the White House and gave them these binders that they made all up and saying, look, we're the most transparent administration. And then it turned out to be a nothing burger.
Yep.
Now you're in kind of a situation where, okay, it looks like you're taking us as fools. You should have either said from the beginning, nah, we're not doing it, and not played this whole theatrical game. But now that you've done that, like, you can just come out and go, okay, we're going to be completely transparent.
Yeah.
Forget the kooks like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. Tucker, whatever. They don't even have to say Tucker Carlson on this one. Let's say, I don't know what he says on this, but Candace Owens, don't care about that. But we want to be completely straight with those of you who believe in us, because that's the problem. There are a lot of people that believe in the
but the name you do understand the names. People want the names. That's what people want.
Yeah.
They don't want the all the details and all these kind of stuff. They want names. That's really what people want. They want a list. They want the names. They want people held accountable. They want people going after. And I don't ever see those names being released in any kind of fashion to implicate people, business people, actors, whoever it is. Just people that end up in Jeffrey Epstein.
I think that was the problem the whole time, is because
that's the
they're
problem,
not going to release it because it's just because half of them are guilty, but half of them might be innocent.
We'll never get that. We'll never get that because unless law enforcement are going to go after these people, you cannot just put these names out into the public, into no man's land almost.
Because then they're guilty.
Where there's a whole people, vultures, just waiting there, like the media, to say like, okay, cool, this person's in this email where Epstein is tracking his flight because he's a creep as well, and he's stalking these people because he wants to get in to have a meeting with them. So therefore, this person must have solicited minors on an island.
They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. But this is what the Trump administration did to themselves. And they're giving the
Democrats a win. They've given them a win because they're releasing the files now. So it's like.
They're not releasing the files. The Democrats.
No, I'm saying the Democrats are leaking.
The Democrats are leaking the selected parts that kind of helps drive a wedge in the right and helps their narrative. But yeah, let's read some of these super chats, and then we'll move on to the next story. As much as we want to talk about Epstein, but I just want to get it on the record: Epstein didn't kill himself. There's no way.
Brett, evening chap, September in London was epic. We're blocking the Pally rally from marching on the Story Bridge on Saturday. Brett, good to see you here. Okay. There's a Palestinian rally in Brisbane, I'm guessing. And they're going to be blocking it. When you say they or we are going to block it, Brett, who is we specifically?
It's them.
You and some friends? Or what's the story there?
It is them.
It's something being action.
It is them. That's all we know. Brett, you got to do another super chat and let us know. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate the support. Elf on a Shelf, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it. You don't even have to make a comment. Just your contribution is much appreciated. Julian Campbell says, praying for Trump, Australia, Israel, UK, and the West. Julia, I am joining with you in those prayers, even though I don't really pray. But you know what? Whenever shit's going bad, I pray. Is that a sign that I'm religious?
That is the
when you start making promises to God.
There's never a wrong time to pray. Most people go to God, or whatever religious denomination they're in, is during times of hardship. But the real strength, Harvey, is knowing that you should always pray for all aspects of your life.
Praying when things are good make you righteous, but praying when things are bad makes you religious. Is that right? Can I go with that?
Is that what they taught you?
I'm just made it up. I thought it was kind of insightful. D-Mac says, Tucker self-confessed he doesn't watch TV or read newspaper and only gets his information from his people. What more needs to be said? To be honest, I think Tucker just makes up. Like, he decides his narrative and then he fills in his schedule, or his staff who work for him, fill in his schedule to confirm whatever he wants to say. It's become clear that's what Tucker Carlson is doing. Vic Oz 2BC, thank you for the super chat, the generous super chat. Hey guys, back again, adding to the super chat on Tuesday evening. Instagram followers on Brad Batten's profile has suppressed over 30,000 and has come out swinging, calling out Jacinta's BS on the youth crime crisis. It's the same political spin tactic. The last sentence, I'm not exactly sure. Well, firstly, thanks for the super chat. Thanks for the support. I've got to say, I am encouraged slightly by the polling of Brad Batten at the moment. I thought that there was no chance, but he's obviously resonating, or maybe Jacinta's doing so badly at the moment.
Yeah, I think if
She
anything,
does
it
seem
helps.
to be getting desperate.
It helps Brad Batten secure his position in that party as the leader, because the Liberals are always talking about leadership skills, and even for Brad Batten, there a couple of weeks ago, they were talking about this, right? So if he's doing well in the polls and it's showing these good results, why would you want to mess with that? But you can never trust the Liberal Party not to mess something up while it's going good for them. So let's see.
The Liberals feel like the most disloyal group of people. Even Labor feels more loyal than Libs.
Labor are very much loyalists to the core, but they're kind of like the communist style loyalists.
Yeah.
Whereas Liberals more individual think.
Whatever the chairman says goes.
It goes down.
Brett, Man Up are organising. Oh, Man Up are organising. Did he say in Brizzy?
In Brisbane, I think that's where the Story Bridge is, in Brisbane. From my knowledge of these bridges, Story Bridge.
When is this? Did he say this Saturday? Tomorrow?
Yeah, it's a bridge in Brisbane, over the Brisbane River.
Did Brett say this Saturday?
I think so. Yeah, that's what he said. This Saturday.
That's annoying. I would love to go there. That would be cool. Well done. I don't know why no one sends me their work. Let me go, guys. Let me know. Avi@rebelnews.com. When there's things like that coming up, let me know in advance, and I'll try cover it. I'd love to physically get there, but if not, at least cover it. Elf on the Shelf says, Avi, sorry, off topic. Listen, Elf on the Shelf, when you give us $10, it's never off topic. Thank you for your super chat. I have a doc evidence. VLA ordered me. VLA. Victorian. VLA. What's VLA? Ordered me to breach court order to pervert.
Legal Association? Legal Aid. Victoria Legal Aid.
Victoria Legal Aid to prevent international child abduction, withholding grant unless I remove my child from AFP watch list. Would it interest you? So, Alpha, you can send me to avi@rebelnews.com what it is. The problem is, just so you know, there's a problem that I've had personal experience with, is that when it comes to family violence or custody battles, anything to do with either family court, children, family court or family violence, even in the criminal court, or what are they called? Not personal protections orders, the family protection order, whatever they're called. In each state, they're a bit different, but family violence orders or whatever they're called, AVOs. You can't. It's very hard to report on them because you legally cannot identify any family member, anyone, and it can't even be possible to identify them. So if there's a way to identify them, it's a criminal offence. So when you tell a story like that, it has to be generic without information that can identify any of the persons involved. Even so, and it makes it crazy because it's the one area of law which is designed, like a lot of these laws, you can understand the reasoning why they created them. So when it comes to family protection orders, it's like if you have a domestic violence situation where there is a really abusive partner, a violently abusive partner, then you don't want to identify the victims, or you don't want to give details of the victims. You don't want to identify where they live. Anything that can be used by the abuser. But often these laws, I think it's probably like 80% of the time, all these things are abused. Like not what are they called? The family. You have personal protection order, and what's the one that you get from? Because personal protection order is like they're civil ones, and you can talk about them.
Family Violence Intervention Order?
Yeah, Family Violence Intervention Order. At least in Victoria, that's what it's called. So, like, it's really easy for women to use it, and I've talked about this before. It's like there's a formula, and I've talked about it in my book. There's a formula women often use when they break up, and especially when there's kids involved. And so what they'll do is they'll go to the court and just make allegations. Doesn't matter. They don't have to prove it. The court will give them a family, what was it called? A family violence order?
Intervention order.
A family violence intervention order, which then immediately makes so many things illegal and like criminally. Like when you look at our jails, Victorian jails, the majority of people there are actually there for breaching that particular order. So men who have just broken up and that have gone and breached, and it sounds like, oh, why'd you breach it? Well, when you're served this, so the police come and give it to you, you don't even really understand what it means and what the implications of breaking it, especially when you feel like, dude, I haven't done anything on this list, that the things that they're saying about me are complete, and you feel the injustice of it, and you're angry, and you're scared. You suddenly, when you serve that, it means you cannot even see or call your kids. And one of the ways you can, many of the men, they immediately breach the order by calling their child because they're suddenly being isolated and isolated.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Anyways, that was.
So Alf on a Shelf has followed up with a comment. I just saw it in the comment stream. Not reporting AVO, just trying to stop the mother from taking my child back to Japan, but it seems Vic Legal Aid are supporting it.
I would happily look at it, and like I said, there doesn't have to. AVO is like one example of it. You're not even allowed to, I would have to look at the legals. You're not even allowed to, for example, if it's in the family court, which I met, or the federal court, you wouldn't be able to identify. So I couldn't even interview you about it in a way that somebody could tell who you are. Like I could interview you and blur your face and change your voice so nobody could identify you. So we could potentially do it. Yes, it is a story I'd be interested in. If you want to tell it, I think it's super important. I'm super passionate about it. It's close to my heart because I was dragged through this same bullshit as well. You can read my story, rebelfromthestart.com, and I've seen firsthand how the system is used and abused. And I think that we need to raise more awareness around it. It is. I don't wish it upon my worst enemies what you go through in our system, especially if you're innocent. Like the bad dudes, you deserve everything you get. The problem is the system actually doesn't work on the really bad dudes, man. That's what, the statistic that they love to quote, the feminists love to quote, is one woman a week is killed from a violent husband. Those are the ones that all the systems that they create never worked, and that number never has gone down because everything that they've instituted doesn't work to stop. Guess what? It's like machete bins for violent criminals that want to run around stabbing people. They don't keep the law. They don't go to men's behavioural change courses that tell them how evil they are and suddenly flip a switch and turn into nice. It just doesn't work. And the people that pay the price for it are firstly a lot of innocent men. That's why the number they don't like to talk about is men's suicide. And also decent women that don't do that. After I experienced it, I was somebody who was probably believe all women until I went through it. And I go, shit, I don't believe any women. It was really hard for me to build my trust up again to anyone. So, yeah. Anyways, send me avi@rebelnews.com. I'll take a look at it. And if I don't answer you, hit me up again. Like, I don't have a PA. I probably need one. I just can't afford it. But hit me up again and again until I do it. It is something that I'm passionate about. Anyways, thanks for the super chat, though. You see, guys, super chats, you can get to redirect our whole conversation. Brett says, this Saturday, lads, see you there. RV, I wish I could get there on Saturday. I don't think I can get there on Saturday, but we might be able to run a live from here. So I'll talk about it. I might talk to somebody there. Brett says again, man up, have invited all patriots, no politics, no bollocks, just Aussies. Guys, if you're there in Brisbane, go check it out. Those are good guys. I love the Destiny Church guys, or the man up guys. And you're always super safe around them because of their male, what is it? Male toxicity.
Male toxicity, also testosterone, obviously, but toxicity, yes. Masculine.
Masculine toxicity. That's what it was.
That's what it is.
Adrian says, hey, Avi, just curious, why is gay marriage banned in Israel? Because isn't Tel Aviv really gay friendly? I thought gay marriage would have been legal. So gay marriage itself is not illegal in Israel. The only law you have in Israel is that you have to be married in a religious ceremony in Israel. So gay marriage is actually, I'm almost sure, is recognized in Israel. So if you get married outside of Israel, it's the same as, because a lot of the time so you can only marry in Israel under this, like a rabbi or a priest or or an imam, any religious leader, right? So obviously they're not none of those religious institutions are going to marry gay people. But for example, so it's not only gay people that can't get married. Like if you want to marry, I'm currently married to somebody who's not Jewish. I couldn't marry her in Israel. My first marriage, she converted, so we did get married in Israel. My happy marriage, that one I married in Australia, but it is recognised in Israel. So
civil marriages performed in foreign jurisdictions, including same-sex marriages, are recognized with full marital rights under Israeli law.
There you go. So it's nothing against gay people. It's just about Israel's allowing of marriage. 1 second.
Is it allowed in Gaza?
No. Gay marriage comes with a free flight, and they have no airports. So you work it out. Adrian has added, thanks for another super chat. Why is the Oz government so much tougher on the neo-Nazis than Antifa? Is it to appease the left or something? By the way, great stream so far, you guys. We've gone through this point before, and they are much tougher on the Nazis, in my opinion, because they are low-hanging fruit. Nobody likes the Nazis. Nobody supports the Nazis. As soon as a Nazi is associated to your thing is delegitimized. And so both the left and the right hate the Nazis. So basically what happens is they use the Nazis go out and do their little stunt. They use the Nazis to implement laws, and they blame it on, they use the Jewish community. They often use the Jewish community as the excuse because the Nazis are anti-Semitic. And they'll go, to protect the Jewish community, and that's why so many people are angry. It does such a disservice. It has the opposite effect. And the thing is, like, the legislation they bring in is ridiculous. There should be none of those hate speech laws. And even when they have hate speech laws, they're not implemented against, they're not used against the people who the Jewish community is actually afraid of. So, for example, a group of Nazis, 50, 70, whatever the groups that they're getting, that are all dressing up, matching, very cute, and going outside an empty parliament or an empty shopping centre where no one's there with a big sign so that they could do some social media stunt. Well, it may hurt. It does. I'm sure it hurts a lot of Jews' feelings seeing it, especially when you see like comments on social media supporting them. That hurts their feelings, but it doesn't scare them like hearing some of the sermons from within mosques that are inciting actual violence from extremists, not even extremists, from, moderates within their community to the Australian Jewish community. But you'll never see the police implementing, prosecuting, enforcing those laws that they've brought in because under the thing of the Nazis, because the Nazis are easier, and they'll keep locking up the Nazis. And we're going to get to
I think
that in a minute.
I like that's a really good point that they've made, because it is so people see the hypocrisy. Obviously, it's so like visible, that hypocrisy, the treatment of these two sides. We have these investigations into the far right that politicians hold in these inquiries. They never look at their own backyard with the far left, these especially the left-wing parties. So that happens a lot, and obviously right now we're seeing it more and more, because it does feel like that these Nazi groups, these NSN groups, are being targeted specifically when we have Antifa, for instance, on the left, running around throwing rocks at police and things like this. And, you know, but even to that...
Mind you, that
point,
deputy gives me... That deputy...
The rock guy, yeah.
Yeah,
so that's what I was going to get to. There is a shift happening.
Yep.
Because there's a shift happening around the world, because these left-wing extremists have also become very much so brazen in the way that they, you know, treat their place. Right, they've been on a leash, I think, by the left for a long time, but now they've kind of gone wild and they're running amok. So it's become a problem. So
and another group that I will blame in all of this is the Liberal Party. The problem is that they don't recognise what's happening here. They don't see that they join in. They join in on it.
They keep, I'm sorry to interrupt, but more redeeming, like the classic example of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, they just threw their own party members into the into the fire with them, and that gives more prominence to this idea that we just smear people as Nazis because other side folds, and the Liberal Party do often fold to defend people and to make that difference about extremism. So that allows everyone to be smeared as a Nazi. And that's what we've had for a long time. Like you get called Nazi all the time, Avi. Maybe you have said certain things like jokingly, which have added to this particular plight of yours. But even myself, I get called a Nazi and a white supremacist at certain points. Not anymore, because the Nazis have obviously disavowed me for whatever extremist ideological hatred they have towards brown people. But you see the point that I'm making. For a long time, it's been everyone's a Nazi. But now we're clearly seeing who the people are that are extremists in this ideological viewpoint. But the Liberal Party and other political groups have failed to make the distinction, like the separation between these two groups. They're playing with fire, if you know what I'm trying to say. They're kind of touching on the same points, and they're allowing them to get away with some of the rhetoric, which should be called out. And then it allows everyone to just pile on and, introduce these new laws and saying, because we don't want to be called a Nazi. We don't want to fight for certain things because, they'll call us a Nazi if we don't introduce this law. So you have weak politicians, and that's what's happened, really.
And I think the Liberal Party need to step up and hold the Labor Party accountable for giving the free pass to the extremists on their side. It's like only one side's extremists have to be held accountable. And the right... Until recently, especially, but the right has generally been very good at calling out their own extremists, and that's right now the fight that's happening, the civil kind of battle on the right, and I'm hopeful that will land in a good place. But in Australia, everybody condemns the Nazis, like we said at the beginning of this first question, isn't it? Nobody has a problem to do that, especially in the political world. But on the other side, when the left do something every single week, you don't even see the Liberal Party coming out with the same energy they do for the Nazis. And that's what I don't understand. They are way more violent. They are just as racist. Their worldview is just as dangerous as the Nazis. They're just a different form of fascist.
Yeah, definitely. And people are saying in the comments they're not Nazis, whatever, they're not real Nazis. They're performative Nazis. They're just losers. But they do the performative thing of, pretending to be Nazis. That's how much of a loser.
Look, and I wouldn't. You know what? After the last protest that we went to, in which they did get very violent, and it was the day that what's his name got locked up for. They were running around the city, being violent. So I do think that as their numbers grow, they will pose the same threat the far left pose. That day convinced me. So I understand wanting to deal with them. I don't think the way that they're going on about it is correct. I don't think. Firstly, I don't believe in censorship. I feel like we have laws that should be implemented, and those Nazis, on that day, they were out of control. They were turning around, turning violent on random people, including our own security that day. So, there's plenty of things in which you can enforce a law that already exists to stop extremists from both sides. But the problem is, that day they finally they finally locked up extremists for turning violent on Melbourne streets. But guess what? It was Nazis because it was a low-hanging fruit. It was easy.
Yeah.
They want to lock them up. And having said that, that's today's story, latest news. Oh.
More breaking news, this time from Victoria. And self-confessed white supremacist Thomas Sewell has just been granted bail over 21 charges, including violent disorder and affray, following an alleged attack at a First Nations site in Melbourne CBD in August. The 32-year-old was originally denied bail in the Magistrates Court and took his battle for freedom to the Supreme Court. The prosecution urged the court to deny the application because there was a risk the neo-Nazi would continue to commit violence offences. But his lawyer argued there was an aspect of unfairness because his 14 co-accused were not in custody. In granting bail, the judge said Sewell did not pose an unacceptable risk and ordered him to pay a $20,000 surety.
What do you make of the story?
And I think also he's not allowed to come to the CBD within a certain radius.
Yeah. I honestly think this is a win for police, and I'll explain to you why.
No, look, I mean, obviously, there were harsh, like, bail conditions or whatever that they placed on that individual. But again, I think he's been in that system a few times. But having said all of this, we see the Victorian bail system as a complete joke. So, when these guys do raise these points, there is a bit of validity to it. The fact that they are being unfairly treated. That's the thing. It's like
there is a double standard. There is a double standard.
Yeah, regardless of my views and my personal views of these guys, Avi, like there is a double standard with the treatment of someone like him and actual, other criminals as well.
100%. But let me tell you why. Let me tell you. So I agree with you, and the easy example is if he was an ethnic gang member that committed a range of violent crimes, like home invasions, not just much more violent than what they did. Although they were certainly brazen on that day, so doesn't diminish, I think, their behaviour on that day. But you have violent ethnic gangs that go around stabbing, chopping, macheting people in their own homes, and then they're out on bail almost immediately, whether they're the leader or not. So yeah, there is certainly a double standard. And there's a double standard also compared to how left-wing extremist activists who turn violent get treated. We've talked about that. But you know why I think this is actually a win for police? Because if he is found guilty at the end of it, so right now, up until his trial, he's got those harsh bail restrictions. He's either got to keep him or he's going to get caught breaching him. So if he gets caught breaching him, he's going to get locked up plus another serious charge of breach of bail, and they're going to throw the book at him for that on top of it. And he probably will not get bailed again, right? Because the technicality that it sounds like they got him out on was the fact that it was unfair because all the other 14 had been released on bail, had been bailed, and he wasn't. So he wouldn't have that argument. He wouldn't have that defense anymore. It would be, well, now you're in for breach of bail. So and the courts hate breaches of bail from straight white men for sure. I'm not sure he's straight, but from white men that declare themselves as straight. The fact that they all dress up matching means that maybe he should use that in his defense. I'm not straight. No, but seriously though, I think it's a win for police because in the period until the case, Sewell can't. He's not allowed to consort, engage, talk to his little Nazi wannabe gang. He's not allowed to deal with any of them.
Is that a part of the condition?
Yeah, that's part of the condition. So he can't have association with him. So he can't have association with him. He can't go to the city. It's a form of, it's a form, especially for him, it's a form of incarceration, right? Yeah. But it's not going to count to time served. So if he's found guilty at the end of it and they throw the book at him because of his rap sheet and his lack of showing any sort of sorriness or whatever you want to call it for remorse for his crimes, they're going to throw the book at him, and he's got the time served was the 72 days or whatever that he served so far, but beyond that, it's not served. So they're going to be able to keep him away from that group for, it could be a few years or extra time is the time that he's out on bail and he can't communicate to him, or he does communicate and associate with the group, and he'll end up copying more charges and they'll lock him up. So I don't actually, I think good, let him out on bail, and yeah.
I mean, we know how that, he was. This was like an attention thing for them as well. Like all of this is a part of their little performative propaganda attention. He's reading Mein Kampf in his cell. He's bringing it out with him when he walks out of the van, and it's all a part of this little thing that they're creating this around themselves. So for them, when you this hyper focus on them is kind of what they want. So we are in a way feeding that beast.
We're feeding into it.
We're feeding that beast. They want this attention. They love the attention. That's what all these stunts are about. It's all these stunts that they're doing in the name of Australia and whatever. It's just to gain attention for their cause.
By the way, let's because the last time we had it from that day, and I think he was locked up the day later or 2 days later, was the March of Australia thing, where obviously we know that the Nazis were heavily involved in the organisation, but most of the people were good people that came. Now we've got the rally that's going to be the 29th in Sydney, but 30th here.
Yeah.
Are you going to come? Are we going to do the covering like we did last time? Or you...
I think so. I think I'll come. On the 30th, at least, to Melbourne.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Should be good. So I'll probably talk about more of that. I was hoping to get Monica on maybe one of my shows or even our show just to talk about it.
Yeah, we can bring her on. Yeah.
That'd be good. But that's the thing, because there's legitimate reasons and concerns that Australians have. And a lot of it, I was talking about it today on X, a lot of it's been caught up in this whole Nazism thing. Like the whole discussion around multiculturalism has now been tied to extremism and white supremacy. They always make it a racist argument, the left versus right on this particular topic. But there's legitimate people that have legitimate concerns, and it's not racist to have those concerns about mass immigration. But this particular group continues to push at the edges of this debate and make it all about themselves in order to recruit. And at the same time, and they say it's for all Australian people, and this is what all white Australians think, and that automatically allows people to just say, oh, well, all white Australians are Nazis and racist. And people are like, oh, well, that doesn't matter anymore. But in the actual real world, those things end up mattering, if that's even a word. But, that's why I think they're poisonous to a lot of movements. And if you don't distance yourself at the right time in the right way, they're toxic. And you're just going to have to deal with the ramifications of that, as we're seeing in the American movement at the moment.
Okay, let's read a couple of super chats. We have Lewis Lone 33 says, Avi, how would an average Aussie guy, non-Jewish, go about dating Israel women in Israel? Would Israeli women even consider it or not if he's not Jewish? Listen, let me break it to you. Israelis, it's not a monolithic people. There's some Israeli girls won't care. Some, especially if they're more religious or their family unit is religious and they're, like any ethnic group, they don't want to disappoint their family. But there are many Israelis that won't have a problem, especially in 2025. Others won't like me encouraging you to do it, but give it a crack. Listen, personally, I've never I did date one Israeli when I was in the army in the beginning, and then both my wives were, well, one was Chinese Australian and the other's Aussie. So I don't know. I personally wouldn't marry them because they're too tough for me. I need submissive. No. But go for it. Give it a crack. Go to Israel. You know what? One thing that you notice in Israel is you've got to keep up their fit, like men and women. It's just like a super fit country, wasn't it? Like,
I mean, you wouldn't, like, I was seeing, like, these young girls out late at night, like, 18, 19, whatever. They're carrying, like, these machine guns across their waist and stuff. They're dressed to go out, whatever. And as a guy that's never really seen that in person, you're thinking, well, you don't really want to mess with these women because they can probably kick your ass. If things came to, in certain situations, they could defend themselves. And
they're blunt.
think,
Like,
yeah,
they're blunt, Israeli
yes.
women, Israelis in general are pretty blunt. So
Yeah.
if you're soft-hearted like me, be careful. Just be prepared. But good luck. Brett says, maybe he's gone already, but Brett says, got to go, lads. Big Friday. Was looking for both of you in London on September. September, was it September 13? The one we were there? Is that the day? But you blokes weren't the only ethnics. I was even looking for Benji, but there's heaps of Benji. Brett, I love it.
It was a diverse crowd at the time.
It was pretty diverse. Sure. It was pretty diverse. And poor Benji, you have to remind Benji that he wasn't there. Well done, Brett. Good luck on Friday if you're still here, and thank you for the super chat. Thank you everyone for the super chat. Peter says, do you think we are heading towards more of a multipolar world with China, or will America remain the most dominant superpower for hopefully forever? You know what? I hope America remains the superpower, and I don't know. I guess, if a lot of these woke right people ever actually do gain control, I think the unintended circumstance is the unintended consequence, I guess, will be the fact that America will end up losing its dominance, its power, and those guys are going to learn real quick that everything that they fought so hard for ends up turning America into, Britain.
I think broadly speaking, America will continue to dominate, at least as a leader within the Western nations and what the West look towards, and those alliances will continue on. But there's interesting points raised there about the multipolar world with China, India, and you also have Russia, and maybe even some other countries in Latin America coming up as well. And they are increasingly, Avi, they're now, building relationships with smaller nations in Africa and Asia, and they're building these different partnerships. BRICS is one example that Trump really hates because it's happening, right? It's happening. And they're in their own right are becoming superpowers. And what Trump has tried to do since he's become president is realign America into that superpower that it used to be.
Yep.
And a lot of what he's done is been about bringing back manufacturing, bringing back the capacity to America to be able to build their own things and be self-reliant and dependent. So, these massive contracts that Trump has signed with like Pfizer and these pharmaceutical companies to manufacture, products in America and things, that's what America and Australia, countries like that need to do, because what's happened is we've become so reliant on Asia and other parts of the world that without them, we struggle, right? We struggle with manufacturing things. We struggle with getting in, parts for cars, whatever. We don't even make our own cars anymore in Australia. So Trump has tried to reverse this a little bit. But the woke right and the left more broadly, they're all for this kind of globalist expansion and opening up of the world in a way that doesn't help. So again, I think America will continue to be the leading light in the West.
In at least the short term, I don't see a change. But
many countries are looking towards China and India as leaders for their particular reasons.
Okay, Jesse J, thank you for the super chat. Avi, speaking of false accusations by women, what makes you think all those women are not falsely accusing Andrew Tate, since he's a successful guy? Okay.
I think Andrew Tate his own words.
So it's a good question. All right. And the truth is, if there was one or two women, and in particular an ex-girlfriend or wife that he has kids with, that were using it within the context of, a custody battle or whatever, fine. The problem Andrew Tate specifically has is his own words. The way he's talked about his treatment of many women. And then on top of that, how many women have accused him of sending? Is he guilty? I can't tell you 100%, but I would not go into bat for Andrew Tate like I would for an average guy in Australia And this is, like, I'm coming from somebody, I've talked about this before. I remember when Sydney Watson held that rally in Melbourne, the March for Men, I think it was called, probably in 2016 or 17, so almost 10 years ago. And I remember being shocked when I saw she announced this rally on a Wednesday for the Saturday or Sunday. So a few days' notice, and it was the biggest Conservative rally that I'd seen. And I realised at the time there's something to this. It was a men's rights rally. It was about this specific topic, about the family law system and men being treated in the way they're treated, men having no rights, no custody rights, immediately being served with these AVOs and then losing and going to jail. But at the time, I didn't really believe in it because I hadn't experienced it, and I just assumed where there's smoke, there's fire. If there's an allegation against a man, then he's probably not a good dude. Until it happened to me. And I could tell you in my life, I've never hit a woman in my life, let alone thrown a chopping board at a woman. Never did it. But I did plead guilty to a crime I didn't commit because I wanted access to my kids. And because in our law system, unfortunately, while there are open allegations, no court is going to give you your children. So you're better off pleading guilty to in my case, the lowest offence, a summary offence, so nothing. I got a little fine and I had to cop it. For me, the biggest punishment has been the fact that it's been able to be used by all my political rivals. Anyone who doesn't like me, they just say woman basher, because you look at the protest, like literally you go to any left-wing protest in Melbourne, if I show up, leftists have chopping boards on them with Avi's a wife basher ready to go. That means, because I don't go to 90% of them anymore, because I just don't anymore. I used to go to years ago, but that means they take it to every protest because that's what they have to be able to kind of demonize me, target the messenger, because I'm so effective at showing the world who they are. Nowadays, I kind of laugh it off. In fact, I'm thinking of bringing out a range of chopping boards at some point.
That would be a hot selling item.
I reckon I'm going to sell them. But the point is that Andrew Tate is not the same. His story is not the same.
Yeah. And it's not even his story. It's the fact that he himself has admitted to much of the things that have been said about him openly.
Exactly.
And now he's trying to
say he was joking about it.
He was joking and things like this, but it adds to your credit. You lose credibility, when you start admitting these things on camera very openly. Like, it's, if people want to believe things about Trump and all these people without any evidence whatsoever, and they're like, yeah, he's like this. Imagine if there's videos of Trump gloating and admitting to the things that, he's alleged to have done. It wouldn't be the same. I mean, they had Trump on that grab her by the pussy or something like this, remember, during the 2016 election? And apparently that was a massive thing.
Yeah.
But Andrew Tate has said far more descriptive.
He's talked about beating him. He's even uploaded videos of it. Or
exactly. He's uploaded videos. And, Milk Bar TV, Nathan, he's done a great compilation.
He's the best. Following. I love it. I've got one of his videos actually about something else tonight. But Milk Bar
and he's
TV.
got a great compilation on Andrew Tate that's gone super viral. And it's just Andrew Tate versus Andrew Tate. And if you walk away from that saying that this guy has been, mistreated by the media and the public eye to the extent that he claims he has, I don't believe it. I can't believe it as a reasonable person looking at that. I think there needs to be scrutiny about things that he's alleged to have done, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next story. Speaking of feel-good stories, especially about those who love to call everybody Nazis, let's have a watch.
Disgraced former CFMEU boss John Setka has been charged, accused of sending threatening emails to a government-appointed administrator. He's the latest scalp of a task force established to clean up corruption in the construction industry. Crime reporter Gillian Lantouris.
A former union heavyweight in his shorts and sandals marched out by police. This isn't John Setka's first brush with the law. Local detectives and Australian Federal Police raided his Footscray apartment early this morning. accusing the 61-year-old of sending threatening and harassing emails to the union's government-appointed administrator, Mark Irving KC, late last month.
These allegations, while still to be tested before a court, go to the very reason why the CFMEU is in administration.
With a mobile phone and an iPad seized, Setka has been charged with 7 counts of using a telecom communications device to menace, harass and offend. Setka left the union in July last year after allegations of widespread industry corruption involving underworld figures and outlaw motorcycle gangs.
4 years, John Setka has ruled the union roost as an alleged bully, an alleged standover man, an alleged harasser.
His arrest comes as part of Task Force Hawk, established to clean up the construction industry, arresting arsonists and members of organised crime syndicates. After damning exposés from 60 Minutes and The Age journalist Nick McKenzie.
The real test now is cleaning up the union so it can become a robust, corruption-free union into the future.
9 News has contacted Setka for comment with no response. For now, he'll remain out on bail until his next court appearance in January next year. Gillian Lantouris, 9.
I've got to give credit where credit is due. I'm no massive fan of Nick McKenzie, especially when it comes to his disdain for our military heroes. And I think some of the work he's done there has been a little bit dodgy, to say the least, lacking of integrity. But on the CFMEU, he's done super good work. And John Setka, and I've got to say, as me, when we stood there outside the CFMEU that fateful day, which really changed the direction of the COVID mandates, lockdowns, all that was the pivotal point. Was actually, and it was actually the moment that John Setka called us and everybody outside protesting, all the protesters that were there from his own members, mostly his own members, where he called them all Nazi babies or baby Nazis or whatever on 3AW. I'll never forgive him for that, and I think he deserves everything he gets. He's happy to demonize people. It's
very thuggish. The whole thing is very thuggish. It's hard to imagine that this is like, modern Australia, where we have this kind of thuggish things happening. These unions, construction industry, the stories that come out, Avi, around bullying and the way they go after people, go after families, even their own members. At instances have come out and spoken up against this. It's all the ingredients of an underbelly series, really.
It is, 100%. It's a criminal. We saw that day, and everyone knew it. Everyone's known it for years. On that day, remember, we were standing at the front. You saw bikies, and it's not like it was a secret. There was a bunch there.
They were saying they had guns. I had people yelling, "Oh, they got guns on that side!" And it was literally bikies guarding the front of the union building, and then fighting with the other members of the union as well. The members fighting each other. I don't know if the bikies are members, but. It is
they were the enforcers, yeah.
There's enforcers. They're a very open mafia-like criminal mob element to one of the biggest, I think the biggest union in Australia, and at least in Victoria.
And Setka has always been the thing. And the crazy thing is, on that day, he's been the leader of it and he's managed it all. And on that day, the fact that he was able to go on, what's her name? Jackie, was it?
No, it wasn't Jackie.
No. It's what's her name?
Was it Heidi? No, was it
Heidi
Murphy?
Tom
Elliott then?
No, it was Tom Elliott's show with Heidi. Heidi Murphy was sitting in. See, I think I would hope if Tom Elliott was there that day, he would have. I imagine he would have pushed back on that comment, which sparked it all. Yeah. Because he was refusing to come out and talk to the members. And then instead, they were saying, the guys at the front, or the ones that were mediating, were saying, he's going to come out. They were kind of dangling this carrot for hours on end. And then at the end, instead of coming, he smeared them all as baby Nazis to her. And she didn't push back because she's bloody useless like that. And then it kicked off. They started throwing stuff and then the rest is history. Yeah. It's wild that this is.
Well, that's because they're obviously an arm of the Labor Party, and it's at least back then. I don't know today, but this guy now, he's so brazen to be sending these emails to an administrator of all people and not think that something would come of it. Like, that's how brazen that this
to the KC, so King's Council. Like, what? That is, yeah, it is that brazen. So in his head, he would have thought, this guy knows I'm in business and would be that scared of me that even though this is his industry, he's still not going to go to police.
Yeah.
He's still going to cower. Because they know that, if you actually watch Mackenzie's series on 60 Minutes, it's like, it's proper mafia style, like, crime. Like, they're firebombing people's houses. They're people that were not falling into line. They took care of them. They scared the living shit out of them. They bashed people. You saw all of it.
Well, I had to go to the police after the CFMEU protest back during COVID times. The next day, I went to a day or two later, I went to the police station because I was receiving, these kind of threatening phone calls. And it was really around not showing up the next day, because the next day, if you remember, that's when everyone else came to the CFMEU building, started that protest. So obviously, I don't know if it's these guys specifically, but I had some very, thuggish, bikey sounding blokes giving me some really strange phone calls the day after that protest. And in the morning,
I didn't know this. Did you talk about it back then, or you didn't talk about it?
I think I talked about it. I think I mentioned to people that I had gone to the police. So I went to the police station to trace the numbers, whatever, because there were very serious threats, and I just wanted to make a note of it during that time because I kind of understood the individuals involved in all of this. But at the end of it all, I think there was just so much public attention on that matter.
Yeah.
That they just ended up looking stupid anyway. From all of it.
Okay, let's read a couple of these super chats and move on. Brett, you're still here. Good to see you haven't left us. I know you want to leave, but you just can't. Brett, thanks for another super chat. I'm glad Benji couldn't make it. Everyone was smoking ciggies. Poor Benji would have had a terrible time. Yes. Benji is very judgmental when people smoke ciggies.
Yeah, I know.
How do you know that, Brett?
Brett is, he seems like an insider.
He's an insider.
He's been around you guys.
Because Benji the other day told somebody off for smoking near us. He cracked it. Brett, was that you?
That's funny, yes.
I am very suspicious.
We've
got to deport Benji. Nathan, thanks for the super chat. Nathan says, Rukshawn. I like that.
Rukshawn.
Nathan, great guy. Guys, Rukshawn, and Avi Yemeni. I like how he doesn't misspell my name. Most people misspell my name, but not mine, yours. And it looks like he did it on purpose. Should come to Mildura, Victoria. There's Orange World in Boronga. And interviewed the locals in town. Mildura hasn't had a passenger rail in 32 years. Mildura is actually a decent drive. I think it's like
edges.
Yeah, because I used to live for a very short amount of time. I lived in Swan Hill.
Yeah.
Which is towards Mildura, and even that was hours away. Yeah, I lived in. My brother was working somewhere, and I went to live with him, and I went to pick fruit. Yeah. I got fired really, really quickly because I was competing against like imported Asians that were just so quick. I could not keep up with them, and the guy was like super nice about it. Like he sat me down and goes, like, it was like a conversation with the boss after a week trial, and it was essentially like, it's not you, it's the Asians, it's Benji's family. They're just, there's no, it is not viable to pay you to do it. So and then within a week after that, I was banned from every pub. So I left. Anyways, true story.
Well, I think the point of the comment was about just looking into issues in Mildura. I agree. Like the regional towns are the core face of a lot of the things that people are going through, and there is a lack of services in those areas. I think he's talking about the rail services.
Yeah, I get that. Look, I send me an email like everyone and bug me on them. I would love to come to. I love going country towns. Like if I have a good story that justifies me going to the country towns, I will jump on that. The excuse to go there and hang out there for a couple of days and do streeters. I'm not sure if no rail there for 32 years is going to be enough to justify it. But find me something that we can add to that. It can be a couple of stories together. We can do a few things, a few issues. And if you get the people that are willing to talk about it, so that it's guaranteed I get there and there is actually going to be people to talk to. Because sometimes, you rock up to these country towns, and I've done it. I did it across America, for example. And you rock up to these country towns and it's so quiet and everybody just wants to get on with their own life. They don't want to be in a camera, with Benji and his big setup and his...
Well, they don't want the Asian fruit pickers coming, and they know what happens next.
They're not used to Asians with beautiful big cameras. They want them to have a fruit bucket and... Brett says, Benji told me off in Brisbane. When were we in Brisbane? I knew it. Benji goes around telling people off about smoking. He does. He doesn't like people that smoke or take drugs.
Surprised.
And in my last video, you saw, apparently I'm a meth head, so I don't know what he does with me. Did you see that? That was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, next story. This is a good one. I'm happy to hear this one.
4 hours long. That's how long the Liberal members of the Shadow Ministry met for this morning, starting at about 9 o'clock. And the whole idea was to finalise the Liberal Party's climate policy, and they've done that. We know that the Liberal Party will dump its commitment to net zero. This is a target that Scott Morrison actually signed Australia up to back in 2021 when he endorsed the Glasgow Pact to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. That commitment now gone from the policy platform. The Liberal Party will be sticking with the Global Paris Agreement, an agreement that Tony Abbott signed Australia up to about a decade ago. And the Liberals will still, when they're in government, submit 5 yearly emissions reduction targets, because that is basically a condition of the Paris Agreement. If and when the Liberals get back into power, they've also committed to repealing Labor's bill, which legislated Labor's 2030 emissions reduction targets. But this can be seen as a victory for the Conservative members of the party room. In yesterday's marathon meeting, that one nearly 5 hours long, the Conservatives prevailed, 2/3 of the party room speaking out in favour of dumping net zero from the platform. And there are many reasons for this, because the party has really shifted its position fundamentally in just 4 years. The key reason is power prices. Power prices are rising, and the Conservative members have sought to link that directly to tougher emissions reduction and to that net zero target. That is a contested argument, but that is the key argument that they're prosecuting in favour of getting rid of net zero. There's also a desire to differentiate the coalition's policies from Labor's policies, because up until today, a commitment to net zero was effectively bipartisan. So that really does shift the politics of climate yet again here in Canberra, something Labor is very conscious of. And this morning, we had Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, before this shadow ministry meeting, really trying to frame the debate. Let's hear what Mr Albanese had to say.
They're walking away from climate action because they fundamentally do not believe in the science in climate change.
I actually agree with that statement. They're not. It's funny to hear even the national leaders. What's his name?
David
Littleproud, yeah. Like even he's saying, no, the science is settled. We believe in the science, but it's the economics we're talking about. There's no way half of them do not believe the science, but they're picking their battles. And fine, I don't care. You know what? Pretend that the science is settled. As long as you find a way out of this stupid. It's like this is the Liberals to Kia.
Yes.
They're also walking away from reliable and affordable energy, renewables backed by storage and backed by gas for firming capacity. Australians cannot afford to keep paying the price of coalition infighting when it comes to climate policy and energy policy.
Well, the Liberal Party, with this policy, now needs to try and convince voters that net zero equals higher power prices. It's really unclear at the moment whether voters really do believe that their rising power prices are because of the net zero commitment. And as you heard from the Prime Minister there, he very much disputes that claim. And so what the Liberal Party really has to do now is firstly convince voters that that's the case, but then put forward a plan that will actually, in their view, lower power prices, and that's really the other half of the equation. We know that the Liberals are moving towards a more technology agnostic policy that might include, a nuclear power policy in years to come, but these are the kind of details that really need to be settled. For the moderates, this is a loss for them because up until the meeting yesterday, the 20 or so moderates in the room were very much arguing to keep net zero because there is a view that net zero is a proxy for action on climate change. And after the last election, the Liberals have been wiped out in urban seats. They hold something like 9 of about 88 urban seats. So if you look at how the Liberals are going to get back into power, it's via those seats. And so you have warnings from the moderates who say, if we don't look like we have a credible policy on climate change, well, then we are going to continue to be exiled from those seats. And that was certainly the view of South Australian Liberal Andrew McLaughlin, who told RN this morning that the argument being made by the Conservatives, in his view, is wrong. Here's what he had to say.
You're wrong. What more can I say? I try to argue the case. I don't think I'm alone in the community, not only from a grassroots level, but also, for example, the National Farmers Federation.
Join the Labor Party or the Greens
councils.
Yeah.
I
was going to say, he looks like a Labor
If you're
member.
going to argue that we're going to abandon net zero, you're going to be very alone in the community and also the business community.
No, you're not.
Yeah, but not in the world.
That's
not in the
Liberal
world.
Senator Andrew McLaughlin there, and the Liberal Party will now be arguing against net zero, though we do understand a compromise has been reached whereby MPs can say it'd be great if Australia did reach net zero emissions, but the Liberal Party just won't be actually setting that as a target.
Your take?
It's just all nonsense, man. Also, I mean, it's good to see that they've come past this discussion.
And it's good to
with
see
the
that
Liberal
the Conservatives in the Liberal Party have won. I feel like it's the
have
first
a
step.
bit of push and weight behind them as well, and they've a lot of this probably has to do with Sussan Ley's leadership as well.
Yeah,
and for them coming on board in the background, and
she's gone.
Maybe she might be gone, but this kind of helps her a little bit more that they've got this
in the short term.
In the short term, and even with the Nationals as well, I believe this helps because a lot of the Nationals were not really big fans or big proponents. Definitely Barnaby Joyce was not a big proponent of this net zero stuff. So it's good to see from that aspect. And overall, in general, like I think this discussion has held back Australia. Like we've been wasting time every election talking about this. And it's been really bad, I think, for Australians when you have both sides of politics basically on the same side of this debate in a weird way where they're afraid, especially the Liberals, and you kind of don't believe what they're saying as well. And they're saying things just because what the ABC person at the end said, worried about certain electorates, which have these kind of climate, Greta Thunberg style voters in them that believe this, like it's like a religious cult, this whole climate thing. And the world has moved on, Avi. The world has changed. Like, America's changing when it comes to their energy. China and India, we talk about all the time. They don't give a crap about any of this, and they're going ahead. And even the smaller, like the more kind of developing nations, Indonesia, I think, are looking at nuclear reactors. So the rest of the world has figured out that yes, we can go towards this renewable energy. We can look at building wind farms and putting up solar panels everywhere. That's all great, but to actually cap your country and to hold back your country and to make the people of your nation suffer for some idealistic goal endpoint that may or not happen and maybe other people don't really care about. It's just crazy. Like we pay some of the highest power prices in the world when we have the capacity to have some of the cheapest power in the world for our people here in Australia. And we're suffering. Australians are actually suffering with these prices. And every election, Prime Minister Albanese last time famously promised, this $275 saving and so on. And the prices just keep going off.
And it's funny, the
it's all
ABC,
BS.
I think the ABC is underestimating I don't think they're reading the room properly. I think the community this is going to be a major election.
I think so.
A thing, and as long as the Liberal Party actually sticks to it. And you know what? I'm excited because the Liberal Party finally are now have a policy that is opposing the Labor Party. They're not just a Labor light. That was part of their problem, is that they keep being Labor light. Like, give us an alternative. And I don't care what your excuse or explanation is. I think it's funny. Like, you're not fooling anyone. You're not fooling anyone on our side. You're not fooling anyone on their side. Like, pretending with your little takia. Yes, no, it's economics. We 100% believe the science. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it, what is that? Libkia.
Libkia?
Libkia. That's going to be our new term for the libs.
It just sucks for these politicians because they have to be like, no. Like, we believe in the science.
Paul Murray says, science is not the authority, it's methodology.
Yeah, of course. And that's why the science changes all the time.
And he added, environmental responsibility, not climate change. And that's the truth. You know, I think we should treat the planet well. But don't make me...
Well, didn't you have a story today you put up with, what's his name? Nick Patterson about the protest or whatever that's coming up.
And
he was saying they didn't get a permit for a location in Sydney, a permit in the park, because they're saying the protest happening in the park might impact climate change.
They didn't have a permit to put to build a stage there because
of climate change.
Climate change is affecting the grass.
It's the levels of absurdity we have now gone to.
Guys, you've been to my house. You see how much I
like your lawn.
I pat my lawn and I caress it.
It's
and
true.
It is
kind
literally
of sadistic in a way.
You know what? I take pride in my lawn. That's how I know I've turned 40. Is I started I go out every morning and I look at my lawn and I caress it and I water it and I talk to it. But you know, it's the climate change is here as well. But I managed to get nice, luscious lawn. It's a joke. But yeah, but speaking of that protest, again, the 29th in Sydney, the 30th here. What was the three issues that they're really focused on in this was migration,
climate.
Migration, energy was the third one.
Energy. That's what it was.
Energy. So it is literally about this issue, but I can't remember what. Let me look it up. You can check it out. It was good. I love interviewing Nick. He's always great, and he brings so much substance to every conversation. Like every interview, you can talk about just a protest. When you normally interview somebody about a protest that they've got coming up, it's usually like 2 minutes. With Nick, it's 10 minutes because he can just...
Sorry.
So, that's right. Immigration reform, freedom from an enforced digital ID, and affordable energy. And that's putaustraliafirst.com. It's with Monica Smith. I think Morgan's involved. Nick, obviously, Nick's involved. So in Sydney, 12 p.m, Belmore Park to Town Hall. So meeting at Belmore Park at 12 p.m. on the 29th, Saturday the 29th. In Melbourne, the one that we're going to cover, me and Rukshan here, is Sunday the 30th of November, 12 p.m. at Flinders Street Station. Outside Flinders Street Station to Flagstaff Gardens. You're going to walk. Cool. All right. Last but not least, this is a fascinating story. So it's a story of 3 parts. Let's watch part 1.
I think that what Candace Owens is doing right now is evil. It is evil what she is doing right now. Okay, and I say that again.
But what?
Because
I don't opine on whether it's evil or not. But my position is it's really none of my business. And
why is it? But I have a question. Why is it none of your business? I mean, you comment on these things for a living.
I'm not mother of the internet.
No, but if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erika of?
Yes.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Yes.
Okay. Like I said, I don't take in that content, which is an honest statement. I don't have time to watch Candace's show.
I believe you. But the point that I'm making is that
what I
friendship should not, in our business, I think it's important. Listen,
Candace
friendship
and I are
should
not
not
friends.
trump.
We don't even know each other.
I understand, but even with Tucker, friendship should not trump our manifest requirement to speak out when people do and say things that are both detrimental to conservatism and morally wrong.
Okay,
All right, so that's just the minute from, I think there was about 30 minutes that they were talking, and I encourage everyone to go watch that discussion between Ben Shapiro and Megyn Kelly. I think it was the class, like Ben Shapiro was in form. It was a classy, respectful takedown of her ridiculous fence sitting on all this shtick, her wanting to be friends with everyone, and then when you actually unpack with her in real time in front of her own audience, it was so easy to see the flaws in her justifications for refusing to stand up for what's right.
Yeah.
But and the whole the whole half an hour, whatever it was like that. It was just so good. But we're talking about this specific. So the story we're talking about now is that segment, that minute. So in which Ben Shapiro said that Candace Owens was condemning Candace Owens and saying to Megyn, why would you not condemn me? If the left did this, you would condemn it. Why can't you condemn it just because you're friends with them or they're on your side? Which is a valid point. I don't think you get a free pass. That's exactly what the left did. The left refused to condemn the extremists on the left, and what ended up happening is that the extremist elements on the left ended up eating the center, the rational, the sensible leftists, if you can call them that, like the ones that are just classic liberals, right?
Yep.
But then the next day or 2 days later, it would have been after this blew up, and I dare say, so I would say that Megyn Kelly walked away from that after seeing the reaction online where everybody was, even if you like Megyn Kelly, you were like, dude, she got in the class.
I like Megyn Kelly, but what she said was ridiculous. Like,
that was ridiculous. But the whole conversation, I think she would have walked away with her ego slightly bruised. She didn't realize it at the time, but definitely seeing the reaction online. Yeah. Her ego would have been bruised because it was kind of embarrassing. She couldn't hold her own against Ben Shapiro when they weren't even debating. It was just, that's how masterful it was that he ended up doing it. Like, he was being really gentle, but he made her look like a fool. So she comes back a couple of days later with sorry, let me bring it up, with this. I think it was actually the next night. It was part of her tour. So she came back with this when he wasn't there now.
He said that Candace has been claiming Erika Kirk was behind the murder of Charlie, which I had not heard, and I was taken aback because that seems like something I would have heard. It's so crazy. And I have since learned it is not true. Candace has not made that claim. And in fact, I've now seen several clips of Candace specifically defending Erika Kirk and saying she would never make a claim like that about Erika, and that she is open-minded to other people at Turning Point. That's obvious. She's been making that point. I had heard that point, but she's specifically been defending Erika Kirk, and she's been saying she does not think that of Erika. And in fact, if you read her comments, she's under pressure to make comments about Erika, and so far, what I've seen, she hasn't. So thank you for that question.
So she went back to like her position of, and it's just so ridiculous. Like, again, even that is just so ridiculous. How is that not a massive red flag? And who is TPS USA now? It is Erika. But she, like, this thing of her to go in and defend, and also to claim like she hasn't seen all this stuff, even in the first one. It's like, what are you talking about?
No one believes you, Megyn.
No one believes you. It's funny. A lot of people sharing clips of Megyn with the original Trump. Remember that? Yeah. When
Trump has been gracious she's been welcomed back into the fold after that stuff. Let's be honest.
After being after being a mainstream,
she was Trump derangement syndrome. She's kind of like a Candace in that way.
Yeah.
This is someone that's worked their ways back into the Republican movement in a way that they're.
And now she's like, she wants to be accepted by or she wants to be loved by the Tucker Carlsons and the Candace Owens, but also by
that's more important to her.
By the mainstream concern. She wants to be loved by everyone, but it's getting to a point where Ben Shapiro's right. Like, you have to call out the evil behavior on one side. So anyway, she came back saying that actually Candace Owens has specifically said that she doesn't think Erika Kirk had anything to do with it. In fact, and this is the funniest line, she goes, in fact, even when the comment section is pressuring her to do so. And it's like, dude, literally, does it not tell you something? Like, her whole comment section says Erika Kirk. And she doesn't turn around and go, no, it's not Erika. You never see a comment of... She just lets all those comments go because she's implied so often that it is Erika Kirk. In fact, Milk Nathan...
and that she is open-minded.
What is... Oh, that's still playing there. Hold on, give me a second. So Nathan from Milk Bar TV, which I love, and I love crediting him because he does the hard yards. So guys, if you're on X, go check him out, the Milk Bar TV. He deserves, and unlike some of the people that I have promoted on this platform before, because I thought they were doing good work and they were new, I know Nathan's consistent, and tomorrow he's not going to end up being some ridiculous clout chaser. I'm not looking at you, the two worlds collide bullshit. I'm not pointing at any fingers. No, but Nathan has been consistent for many years, and he actually does proper good work. He doesn't just sit in his studio and play a TV clip and then read his script that he's theatrical. He's got to have like act outraged by the clip like he's only first time watching it. Yes, we know your little shtick. Yes.
So the debate's not happening? Is the debate happening?
No, I don't think I don't think he's going to do it. I don't think he'll do it in real time because anyways, if he can, I really want it to happen. So guys, if you like him and you follow him, tell him to do it and let's stream it everywhere. Anyways, I don't know how I got onto him. Now the reason why is because I remember the last time I told people to follow somebody, I think it was his channel that I was telling people to follow because I started liking this guy, but he was brand new. Nathan, Milk Bar TV has been doing this for years now, and he actually puts in the time, the effort, and the proper research to find clips like this. And so he says here, gee, I wonder where Ben Shapiro got the idea that Candace Owens implicated Erika Kirk in Charlie Kirk's death. And he's tagged, and remember, and guys, go and retweet it, keep it going. But you remember that Megyn Kelly said that not only did she not say it or imply it, she's come out defending Erika Kirk. So let's see what that defense of Erika Kirk looks like from Candace Owens.
Realizing that nothing in Charlie's life was real. It's just something that keeps me up at night. Just nothing in his life was real. Like, everyone's just like, oh, let's just move on. It's so crazy to want to figure out what happened. Let's just start issuing gag orders. And the way to honor him is to give money. I don't know. There's just something really sick and demonic about the entire thing.
It's looking to me like the apparent plan was to assassinate Charlie Kirk, who had at long last faltered on the pro-Israel cause. Okay, his words, not mine. And then to stage a hostile takeover of his brand and of his legacy.
I really wish I really wish in that moment he put up because there's a screenshot that's been going around lately. He's literally 3 or 4 weeks before he was killed, he tweeted that his position on Israel is in absolute disagreement with her. He still loves her, but he disagrees with her. So he wasn't like, I love her. She just always says that.
Yeah, yeah. But more importantly, in that, just that last clip, Avi, she's saying that if you just play that clip again, sorry, just the last bit. I just
this last bit,
just the last bit, yeah.
Who had at long last faltered on the pro-Israel cause. Okay, his words, not mine. And then to stage a hostile takeover of his brand and of his legacy.
Okay. Turning back, pause that there. Hostile takeover implies within like the corporate world, at least, there's some sort of hostile element, another company or another individual coming in, or someone that's been in the company kicking out the CEO and taking over. What happened at Turning Point USA, which we might see in this rest of the video, is that who became the new boss of Turning Point USA?
Erika
Kirk. So the implication thus is that she is a part of this hostile takeover, or she is saying that she is so stupid and dumb that she doesn't even know that she's being used to take over her husband's company. Like this whole that.
Let's just say she's definitely not sitting there and saying, no, it wasn't Erika Kirk. If anything, she's directly pointing the finger at Erika Kirk because the only person who took it over, the only person that's different than before Charlie was killed is Erika.
Yeah, and very publicly as well. She's very publicly taken over, and she said, this is what I'm doing. So, it implies many different things when you say that, that she's a part of some plot.
USA, the conservative grassroots organization co-founded by Kirk, announcing his widow Erika will take over as the group's CEO.
There's two things happening here. There's a widow, and then there is the chairman and the CEO, and she has assumed that role. Okay, so criticisms pertaining to anything at Turning Point USA that are being directed at Erika are fair. Yeah, I'm putting the fuck.
There you go. She's not defending Erika Kirk. She's not saying comment section, I'm not going to point at Erika Kirk. She's going, no, actually, it's fair to point at Erika.
Yeah. And what she's trying to say that I'm not accusing her as the wife, but I'm accusing her
as the I'm not accusing her as the widow. I'm accusing her as TPS USA. So, but she's accusing her.
You're here right at the feet of Turning Point because I am disgusted. I am genuinely disgusted. I am looking around and wondering whether Charlie's entire life was the Truman Show. None of you guys are behaving in the way that you should be behaving. But I'm starting to think that the assassination of Charlie Kirk was something akin to a regicide, right? The assassination of a king to install a new ruler who the king would have never approved of.
He left me a blueprint and all of his journals, but more so than that, I was his vault for literally everything. He shared everything with me, his vision, his dreams.
In the event of his untimely death, he just, in the third notebook, he was like, oh, and if I accidentally get shot on campus, here's what you should do. Call Erika. And then after you call Erika, come find this notebook. And in this notebook, you'll see that I am using adjectives like fantastic and heroic to describe Mikey McCoy.
My husband's chief of staff, the amazing Mikey McCoy.
Why are you doing that? Why do I feel like you're trying to program me? And if during this process of our imagination, common sense comes on and we're like, but wait, Charlie, wasn't he like a boy genius? He's a pretty bright kid. Wouldn't he have maybe formalized that succession plan outside of like a diary? Maybe call one of his many lawyers? Maybe formalize it in a will? Because that's what you're supposed to do if you are thinking about dying and you need to make a plan. You make a will. I'm sure he had a will, but no, he wanted to put it in these notebooks. And then the plan was to guilt us, I think, to try to haunt us with the ghost of Charlie's notebooks that we're never going to be allowed to read, but we're supposed to accept that they most definitely read, like for sure. That's what it feels like. I am told that these people believe the official narrative. Lone shooter. No one else involved, just a crazy guy with too many pronouns in his bio.
To have seen the autopsy report, to have seen the different evidence portions that have been collected, I trust our team.
Hey, 1963 called and they want their narrative back. All that's missing from the story is a grassy knoll, right? Just need a grassy knoll. Anyways, back at headquarters, I am told it's business as usual. And it's kind of giving me like, I don't know, LBJ when he gets sworn in that famous picture. Unfortunately, sworn in. Unfortunately, of course, he's sad in this photo. Gosh, he's obviously not wanting to be the president of the United States.
Yeah, she's...
LBJ, when he got sworn in, when Kennedy assassinated, whatever.
Which is saying Erika Kirk.
That's protocol, and that has to happen. So that's just the protocol, and it happened like this. But she's making the same connection now.
Yeah, exactly.
Between Erika Kirk being installed.
It's Erika Kirk she's talking about. The analogy is Erika Kirk here.
She's attacking her. She's going after her by using these, other ways to do it, because she knows, as crazy as everything else she's saying right now, a lot of people will give her a pass for it. But the moment she does actually directly blame her, then she's got to really bring out the receipts. So for now, she's working in innuendo. And
Innuendo,
making all these crazy...
but it's like all
it's
of
obvious
this,
to us. It's obvious if you
all
want to
of this is obvious, but this is what she does. It's like for 2 years, she's too gutless to say the Jews. So she uses all different innuendos. The comment section, everybody knows who she's talking about. Her followers know. She knows. The Jews know. The detractors know. Everyone knows what she's talking about. But then when somebody goes, why'd you blame the Jews for that? Or why'd you blame Erika for that? Where did I say Erika? Where did I say the Jews?
Yeah.
And like, you're an idiot if you fall for it. And that's the problem with Megyn Kelly, is like, she's defending this like this is not saying Erika. Really? You're going to say this is not her pointing. You're actually going to make the argument that this is her defending Erika. Are you insane or are you just delusional? Or do you take us for fools? Do you think we're that dumb?
Yeah.
It's JFK was shot and killed, and now LBJ has to step up, unfortunately. But I got to be honest, I wasn't there. I don't think LBJ was actually that upset. I don't know why. Vibes. The vibes just aren't vibing for me in that picture, but maybe he was. Maybe the truth is that LBJ simply, to use an expression, had his wits about him. It becomes clearer and clearer. It just screams at me that this was an inside job, okay?
Yeah.
Evil or insane? What do you say? Ben Shapiro
I think-
says evil. I actually agree. I think she's.
I mean, there's an element of it because she's not a dumb woman as much as dumb as she sounds sometimes. Now, when you listen to this crap, there's an element of evil in some of what she's doing. She's leading a lot of people on with this, and yeah, she's just not manning up really, for lack of a better way to describe this, and just saying what she really wants to say. Which is because she can't say it again, like I said.
It's funny
She
because
can't
for
really
somebody
say it.
who pretends like she's such a freedom fighter and she says,
Well, there's people in the
power.
comments. There's people in the comments having a go at us, for sure. The people support her. There's people in the comments having a go at us and saying that she's done all this research and why don't we try doing the research, guys?
What research?
It's not hard to say what she's saying.
No.
You have to understand,
And the question is she talking about? Are they in the comments saying that she's not talking about Erika Kirk?
No,
Because-
they don't want to touch on that specifically. Because,
No. Okay, so that's what this conversation is about. If you're an idiot that still falls for Candace Owens lie after lie after lie after every single day she's debunked, that's a problem that you have, not us. But in this case, what we're talking about, we're showing you an exact story where Megyn Kelly came out in defense of her, and the defense was that she's never blamed Erika Kirk because that's what Ben Shapiro had said. And I think the way that Ben Shapiro presented it was fair. He goes, yeah, that's exactly what she's doing. She's blaming her, and she's pointing the finger at everyone at TPS USA, saying that they're directly responsible as this big cover-up, which is exactly what she's doing. She does point at Erika. She does point at the Turning Point team, and then so Megyn Kelly's come out in defense, pretending like she's not. And then the funny thing is, Candace herself is gaslighting all of us now, using Megyn Kelly as she actually played Megyn Kelly's defense.
Yeah, I
and
know
going,
she did.
Megyn Kelly's bringing the fire. And it's like, dude, wait, hold on. Are you also denying that you ever pointed at Erika Kirk?
Yeah.
That is the ultimate gaslighting. Her, Tucker Carlson, they are the biggest gaslighters. They will go. It's like Tucker Carlson going, having to go at Tucker for being obsessed with Israel. And it's like, and you look at the thing on counts of how many times he's talked about Israel every single show since that day, where that's all he does. And it's like, what? Like what? And just because you say something, it doesn't make it true. Just because you now say that you never pointed at Erika Kirk, even though we have, just because Andrew Tate tells us he's innocent now, even after years of telling us that he beats women, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take your word for it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, a couple super chats, and I think we end for tonight. David said Epstein, this just rehash was released 2024. Check. Look,
It is a bit of a rehash. I mean, we haven't seen those emails before, I don't think, in the public domain where they're talking about Trump, but the emails basically clear Trump.
They don't give any, like when you read the worst ones, which are the ones that the media is trying to push everywhere, the same two emails.
Actually makes Trump look good.
I don't think it makes him look good. It's like Epstein's trying his best to,
get his attention.
Oh yeah, and then on top of it, it's like the one story where Trump was there. It happens to be the one victim that has testified that Trump definitely did nothing wrong. So it's kind of...
Well, I think that's what the testimony comes from, is obviously these emails would have been in the possession of prosecutors, and this question was put to that victim, and she very empathetically has made a public statement saying that in relation to Trump, I'm just going to make this point again, he was the someone that did not engage in any such behavior when she was around. So, yeah, nothing burger emails.
Final super chat for the night. Thank you for everyone that super chatted today. Really appreciate your support. Adrian says, do you think Candace's hatred to Israel mainly comes from her fallout with Ben Shapiro, or is it genuine, just Israel Jew hatred? So my take on it, and obviously I'm speculating, I do not live in Candace's head, although as a Jew we do have very rent-free space. In fact, I am, as a Jew, planning on renting out some of that space for a profit, because that's what we do. But no, so I do think it all started from her fallout with Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
I think that she is a
woman scorned.
Yeah. But is her Jew hatred genuine now? Look, I think she's definitely talked herself into it.
Yeah.
I think she has
You
talked
can't
herself
walk back from it.
Yeah, so and I think she's self-radicalized over time. Like I do think she genuinely she's not coming back around. She, as passionate as she was ever for Israel, she was never that passionate. And her passion now, this is the hill she's going to die on.
Yeah, yeah. Even Tucker, I could almost see Tucker being able to reverse course.
He will he will gaslight us out of.
He's done it in such a way that he could kind of reverse course, and he's in Israel at the wall taking $7,000, right? Joke there. He can do that. Tucker is capable, but Candace has gone so far in one direction that I don't think she could ever do it, because now it's a matter of this is who she is now.
Yeah,
this is her identity. She'll be forever linked to that, and I think she's going to just keep doubling down on this. For every single story that she ever talks about, she will find an angle to blame the Jews.
Somehow.
It's sad to see. It's sad to see that she's gone down this path.
It's so often, it's so predictable. It's so predictable, but even when you think it's not possible, like even, it was so predictable when Charlie Kirk died that they were going to blame the Jews. That she was going to blame the Jews. And, for a day or so, you saw, no, she didn't go, like even though the usual Pakistani accounts went straight to the Jews, she had slight grace for a minute. She just went off the internet. I think she said this is too much or something. I think what I realized is it was just too much for her to work out. How do I get it to the Jews? This was one guy that defended the Jews. How do we put it on the Jews? But yeah, every single issue, no matter what, Candace Owens finds a way to blame the Jews. It's just like the most predictable thing. Queedy added a super chat before we end. Great show. Cheers, boys. I have enjoyed tonight. Sometimes I feel like I'm like in a cloud. My head's scattered. It's the end of the day. Like nighttime's not my time. But today I feel like
I know. It's good conversation. I think we're just having more conversations now, and gossiping a little bit more. People like the gossip. We might channel a bit of Candace and just start blaming people as well. I think people enjoy
Ron Ashton in your comment. I love how much he hates me.
Ron, you got to comment on YouTube if you want the comments.
No, I can see them. They're coming up.
No, but they're not coming up on the stream. I think he's on Facebook or somewhere else.
No, they're coming up.
Oh, the stream. Okay,
I'm seeing them on the stream.
Ron, we can see your comments. And then other people are saying, Rukshan, you can only dream of Candace level stuff. Guys, no one is disputing that Candace Owens is a very effective communicator, and she has one of the biggest podcasts, and she's doing really well. Yes, I mean, everyone would love to have such shows and such engagement, sure. But, in this space, we criticize the media, we criticize the mainstream media, we criticize sometimes, people in the podcasting space as well. We criticize our peers, other commentators, and it's all a part of it. Like, there is no one above criticism.
And let me break something to you. And being the biggest podcaster doesn't make you right. And
That's right, yeah.
if you go by that logic, then a lot of mainstream media personalities are going to be a lot more right than alternative media. The numbers don't mean anything. What means something is the fact, the evidence. And the thing is, Candace loves to talk about receipts, and then she publishes half receipts.
I mean, it's just,
even when she shares text, she hides the timestamp because it doesn't work in her favor. Anything that doesn't work in her favor, like that video that she the evidence that she did about the guy, the guy not using the killer. It's the one that's charged for. Yeah, the guy. She's like, he doesn't call it a motor vehicle or whatever. And then the exact video she used as evidence that was old footage of a body cam for police. She literally cut right before he used the word she said he never uses. Yeah. So she's the most dishonest, deceptive person on the internet today with a massive audience. Am I jealous of her audience? Of course, as somebody that creates content, of course you're jealous of, you aspire to be somebody with such a massive audience. Of course. Does it mean she's right? Does it mean we're wrong for criticizing her? No, I think she's evil. I think she's evil and she's making herself mad. And I think history won't remember her kindly. And like you said, I think Tucker will be able to, he's a bit more sophisticated with it, that he's positioning himself that he can always walk it back. She isn't. And that's going to be her downfall. Remember how many people think about Milo Yiannopoulos, or however you pronounce his last name. Remember, he was the biggest thing in the conservative movement for
it comes and goes.
It comes and goes. And when it goes big. It goes bad. Like Milo, when do you hear from Milo? He's like the gossip queen that nobody trusts anything he says, even less than Candace. On that note, God bless you all. God bless Australia. God bless Israel. God bless my haters. And I see our big chockies. He's become obsessed with me. He's commenting on all my Instagram stuff.
Really? I don't know. I've been off social media.
He's like, Arby, Australia first. If Australia went to war with Israel, you'd pick Israel, mate. You've never served a day in your life in any military. Don't talk to me about.
Video of that. I gotta send Chucky the video of where I confronted you.
Don't talk to me about service. You've never served a day. And guess what? You know what's funny? I have 17 brothers and sisters. I love them all. You can love more than one country. If my brothers go to war with each other and they start shooting at each other, I don't necessarily have to pick a side to shoot one of my brothers. No. Yeah, but if one loses the plot, I'm going to I'm going to ensure to do my best to get them back on track, get them back to normality. And you know, it's like that whole question of if Israel went to war with Australia went to war with Israel, like give me this scenario in which it's more likely Australia going to war with New Zealand. Now his big controversial quote, if I've ever told the bloody New Zealanders, any New Zealanders, Kiwis, have you asked Kiwis, if we go to war with New Zealand, whose side are you going to go on? Because it's more likely they're actually our neighbours, and if we become the communist state that we might end, or if they become communist China, if whoever becomes communist China first and then wages war on the other, whose side are you picking, Chocky? That controversial dickhead. Anyway,
guys, I like this new drama. This is good. We should create drama here and gossip.
I want to do it only on our show, though. I only want to do it on. I only want to do it on our show, and if they want to debate, they have to come on the show, or at least stream it across all the platforms.
I was going to say, guys, thank you for all the comments and the conversations. We're seeing all the comments come up, and thank you for the super chats. We really enjoyed it. If you're enjoying the show, remember to hit the like, follow, and subscribe buttons on our platforms wherever you're watching, and we'll be back next week.
Leo had to throw in a super chat before we go. He goes, Candace Owens is a fake Christian. She uses her religion for popularity, sort of like what Andrew Tate did with Islam. You guys agree? Keep it up. Totally agree. Totally agree. You know what I love more than anything? I would say out of all the faiths that like real Christians, I love most because they've just got this nice, open, warm energy, and they want to invite you in. They want, like, you know, with zero judgment. The absolute opposite of what Candace Owens is, and it is, and that's why she loves Andrew Tate so much, because to them, those religions is just like a tool to weaponize against their political foes. On that note, God bless you all. God bless the United States of America.
Shalom, shalom.